So for the past sort of decade or so, I have really struggled with mental health issues. I guess it began really when I was in my teen years. I've always really struggled with anxiety. I'm not too sure why that is. I suppose it's made up of insecurities, right? So you've got your physical insecurities and your mental insecurities. My physical insecurities are I don't like my teeth. I don't like the bump that I've got on my head, if you can see that there. And then my mental insecurities are, I guess, always second-guessing relationships, doubting my own ability. But mainly it's just living life in my head. Which is really difficult to explain to people unless they feel it too. And I've kind of got to the point over the last 10 years where it's worn me down almost to the cusp of thinking, well, if I'm living an entire life in my head, that's not really living a life at all. And I think a lot of it really, it's harmed the relationships that I've had over the years, because some people might see me as aloof. With other people, I think it damages relationships because I'm never really truly myself around them. Because I feel like, because I'm living so much of my life in my head, that when I'm talking to people, I feel like I'm keeping secrets from them. And I felt guilty. And that sounds really strange, but these are the kind of nonsensical loops and knots that you tie yourself in when you are struggling with mental health. And then earlier this year, things all changed for me. I found out that an old school friend, albeit not a particularly close one, had taken his own life. As I say, he wasn't a particularly close school friend. He was someone who I hadn't really spoken to since I was actually at school. But you look back on your childhood and we all have significant faces in our head. And he was one of those. He committed suicide on his 25th birthday. The thought of someone getting to the age of 25 and feeling like their life can't possibly continue anymore and that there's absolutely no place for them to go with it anymore is really harrowing. It's been like half a year now, and I still can't quite comprehend in my head just how lonely a place that must be. And it sounds terrible. It sounds terrible, but that moment in the year has actually helped me. It was really the slap around the face that I needed to say things aren't going to get better unless I try to put them right. I also feel like it's a kind of debt that I owe to other people as well, because we all have friends and family members who struggle with mental health issues, and how on earth can I be giving them advice if I don't actually take it myself? And as I say, that was when I really learned that a life lived in your head isn't a life lived at all. So from that point on, I started talking about it, I started writing, and more importantly, something I never thought I would ever do, I started running. They are three things that I find complete solace in. When I'm doing any of those three things, all the anxiety, all the depression that it has led to in the past, it all completely dissipates. And for a minute, I feel completely myself. But I get that just because I found something doesn't mean that other people have, which is why I have a challenge. Over the course of 2018, I have set myself a challenge of running 1,000 kilometres. That is roughly the distance from London to Monaco, which is probably the most middle-class comparison that I could give. Oh yes, from London to the Yacht Club. I'm going to be running that 1,000 kilometres for a fantastic charity called CLASP. Now, CLASP is the Counselling, Life Advice, Suicide Prevention charity. They provide support for people who don't feel like they have anywhere else left to turn. Basically, they save people's lives. Now, I would be lying to you if I said that I hadn't ever felt suicidal at some point or another. But the older I've got, the more I've learned that there will always be a solution. Some people don't feel like that, and the work that CLASP do helps people no matter how far they are along that road, whether they're right at the start of their journey of dealing with mental health or whether they've dealt with it for years. They provide tailored support to help them get by and to help them get better. As I say, I'm looking to raise £1,000. That's £1 for every kilometre. Uber don't even give better rates than that. If I can't run for whatever reason, for illness, for injury, then I will be walking that distance as well. There are three things really that I want to accomplish with this. So the first thing is, yes, in part, I am doing this for my bloody self. The whole thing with mental health for me is about my subconscious dictating what I do in my life. I want to have better control over that. And the only way I'm going to do that is if I put my mind to the test. Secondly, and this one is, for me, probably the most important bit, is that I want people who I've spoken to down the years who struggle with mental health and don't think that they're capable of tackling it. I want those people to see that you can actually accomplish things that you never thought you could. I'm sat here right now thinking there is no way that I can run 1,000 kilometres, but I'm going to make sure I do. And thirdly, in honesty, I want to raise a buttload of money for a fantastic charity that helps to save lives. It's as simple as that. I'm going to be recording my progress about once a month, so I'll be doing that through this YouTube account. So if you want to just have a watch to have a laugh at me as I struggle through the year, then feel free to. If you want to donate some money, then that would be even better. My Just Giving link is just below, so if you do want to donate, please go to there. You can read more about the fantastic work that CLASP do as a charity. I know with anything involving charity, the attitude towards it is kind of the same as it is to politics, right? You think, what difference can one person make? But for every pound that you donate, you will be making sure that someone out there who is either depressed, is struggling, feeling suicidal, or even if they're just dealing with anxiety, you will make sure that they have someone to speak to about it. Around 12,000 people have committed suicide in the UK over the last 2 years. That's 12,000 completely preventable deaths. And if you're watching this and you're going through a tough time with mental health, as I know a lot of people are at this time in the year, my advice to you would be this. I started running, talking, writing, doing things to make myself feel better because I never want to be just another suicide statistic. And I don't want you to be either. So let's just make sure that no matter who you are, whatever you're going through and wherever you are, that you always have someone to speak to. Thanks for watching, and I will give you an update on how it's all going in January. Oh, why did I do this?